Parents who have genuinely stopped loving their child. What happened? When my 15-year-old son Jake started coming home with unexplained injuries, I thought he was being bullied. Turns out, he was the one doing the bullying. The school called to inform us that Jake had been systematically tormenting a disabled classmate named Tommy for months, stealing his medication, pushing his wheelchair downstairs, and filming it all for social media clout. My husband and I were mortified. We grounded Jake, made him delete his social accounts, and forced him to write an apology letter. We thought this was just teenage stupidity that we could correct with proper discipline. Jake seemed remorseful, promised it would never happen again, and we believed our son was learning from his mistake. But 3 weeks later, Tommy's parents called us in tears. They had found their son in his bedroom with a belt around his neck. Tommy had left a unaliving note specifically mentioning Jake's torture, saying he couldn't take the pain anymore. Thankfully, they found him in time, but Tommy was hospitalized for a week. When we confronted Jake about nearly driving a kid to unalive himself, his response chilled us to the bone. He shrugged and said, "That's not my fault he's weak. I was just having fun." There was no remorse, no empathy, nothing. He actually seemed annoyed that we were making such a big deal about it. We immediately got Jake into therapy, thinking something was seriously wrong with him. During the sessions, more disturbing details emerged. Jake admitted he had been targeting vulnerable kids since middle school, not just Tommy, but several others. He described in detail how he would study their weaknesses, find their breaking points, and systematically destroy their self-esteem. He called it his hobby. The therapist diagnosed Jake with conduct disorder and warned us that without intensive intervention, he was on a dangerous path. But Jake refused to participate in treatment. He would sit in sessions completely silent or make jokes about his victims. When the therapist tried to discuss empathy, Jake would roll his eyes and ask when the boring lecture would be over. Things escalated when Jake's 12-year-old sister Mia started showing signs of severe anxiety. She was having panic attacks, refusing to eat, and begging us not to leave her alone with Jake. When we pressed her, she broke down and revealed that Jake had been practicing his bullying techniques on her. He would lock her in closets for hours, tell her graphic stories about how he was going to hurt her friends, and force her to watch videos of animal abuse while laughing at her tears. The breaking point came when we installed security cameras after Mia's hamster mysteriously died. The footage showed Jake suffocating the animal with his bare hands while Mia slept, then carefully placing it back in the cage to make it look natural. When confronted, Jake didn't deny it. He smiled and said, "You should see what I did to the neighbor's cat last month." That same week, we discovered Jake's trophy collection hidden in his closet. Photos of every kid he had tormented, including close-ups of them crying. The final straw was finding his detailed plans to graduate from animals and kids to bigger targets. His journal contained step-by-step strategies for causing maximum psychological damage to adults, including specific plans targeting me, my husband, and several teachers. When we tried to have him committed, Jake calmly told the intake counselor that he would make us pay for betraying him. Jake is now 17 and has been in and out of juvenile facilities for escalating violent behavior. Each time he's released, he contacts us with new threats, more sophisticated plans for revenge. Mia is in intensive therapy and still wakes up screaming his name. We've moved twice and live in constant fear of the day he turns 18 and is released as an adult. The sweet little boy who used to bring me flowers is gone.